Starting us off at number 10 is Justin Bieber faces sexual assault accusations. A lot was going on in the world this summer, but one story that caused a ton of chaos in Hollywood was Justin Bieber being accused for sexual assault by 2 social media users. One girl had sent out a tweet claiming that on March 9th, 2014, she was assaulted by him after he invited her and some friends back to his Four Seasons hotel. After that tweet was sent out, another girl replied saying that she is also a victim of his and shared that she was assaulted by him on May 5th, 2015. But Justin denied the claims and even filed a $20 million lawsuit against them for defamation. Turns out there were time-stamped paparazzi photos taken of him on those dates during the time the girls claimed, which proves that their story is false and he wasn't even in that location. He also shared receipts from hotels that he was at during those dates, which also prove that the claims were not true. But you can just imagine the damage these accusations can do to someone's career and reputation. And surprisingly enough, even though he provided all those receipts and stuff, people still believed the girls. So, coming in next, number 9 is Kendall Jenner. Out of all the Kardashian / Jenner sisters, she is the one who normally stays out of the drama and controversial scandals. But this all changed recently when she threw a birthday party for herself during the COVID-19 pandemic. After photos and videos were posted on social media, people were furious that she would throw a party with the high rise of COVID-19 cases in the US. They were even more frustrated though by the fact that she had signs at her party asking guests not to post any photos or videos on social media. She knew she would receive backlash for her decision, but she chose to do it anyway. Not to mention, all the guests in the videos were not wearing masks and other celebrities were there as well. People ridiculed her online, but they did not receive an apology from her. What they did get though was an explanation from her mom, Kris Jenner, who said that everyone was tested for COVID prior to entering the party and that they had safety protocols in place. Up next, number 8 is the NXIVM scandal. You probably heard about this massive sex cult scandal back in 2019, but we got a closer and more detailed look when a Netflix documentary about it came out this year. The docuseries called The Vow explains the dangerous and shocking details about the cult, which included actress Allison Mack and a man named Keith Raniere. The two of them were known to be the cult's leaders and were in charge of a human trafficking group where they would actually brand the members with their initials. The trials against both Keith and Allison have been going on for a while, but it wasn't until recently when Keith was finally sentenced to jail. On October 27th, he was sentenced to 120 years in prison, and the court ordered him to pay a $1.75 million fine. He was the man who started this cult, so people have been anxiously waiting for this moment. This is a huge victory. As for Allison Mack, she is currently on house arrest and is waiting her sentencing. And low-key, if no one knows who she is, she's the actress from Smallville. So, she was a big name in Hollywood when she was sex trafficking. Moving on to number 7, we have Loughlin goes to prison. The legendary Full House actress is one of the last people you would probably expect to be locked behind bars. But the unthinkable happened in 2019 after news broke that she had been caught in a college admission scandal where she paid $500,000 to forge test scores for her daughters to get an early admission. Both she and her husband were facing charges for conspiracy to commit mail fraud, money laundering, and bribery, which all followed them into 2020. It actually wasn't until recently when they were both finally sentenced and she was given 2 months in prison and a $150,000 fine, 2 years of supervised release, and 100 hours of community service. Reports started saying that the actress is only a few days into her 2-month sentence and is a complete wreck. A source close to her said she is feeling that her time could be changed to longer while she's in there, or that something horrible is going to happen. Her husband received 5 months in jail, so they are both away from their 2 daughters, which we can imagine is pretty crazy. In spot number 6 is the epic YouTube scandal between Tati Westbrook, Jeffree Star, and Shane Dawson. If you follow the YouTube community, then there's no way you missed all the drama that happened in 2019 and 2020 between these YouTubers. Tati Westbrook released a shocking video in 2019 accusing beauty guru James Charles for very serious claims, like trying to use his fame to manipulate young men's sexuality. Her video did a lot of damage to James' career and reputation. His channel lost millions of subscribers within that day, and he was being attacked online viciously. Once the chaos settled, Tati went silent for a year, but then came back out of nowhere in 2020 to release an updated video. In her recent video this year, she ended up apologizing openly to James Charles and pointed the blame on Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson instead. She exposed the two famous YouTubers for giving her all the false information that she put in her original video and revealed that they wanted to film her creating that video and make it part of their film series. She said it was all part of their plan to ruin his career. Fans have been very divided and torn between who to believe here, but we are hoping that she won't be throwing another video at us anytime soon. I don't think we can handle more of their drama on that. Halfway through the list, at number 5 is Kourtney and Kim Kardashian's fist fight. Keeping Up with the Kardashians has been a wildly successful reality series, eventually coming to an end after season 18 this year. But one of the reasons for the show ending was because of a physical altercation that Kim and Kourtney got into while the cameras were rolling. Their fans are used to seeing them bicker with each other, as most sisters do, but never expected to see them viciously fist fight each other with bloody scratch marks left on their body. The fight came out of nowhere. The sisters were just sitting in a room calmly talking with the other sisters, Khloe and Kendall, when Kim made a comment that just pissed Kourtney off. It was actually Kourtney who stood up, went over to Kim, and got physical first. Things escalated quickly and the footage was shocking to watch, especially because they had kids in their home when all of it happened. The girls spoke about it after it aired and said they worked out their issues and that they were disgusted with their behavior. Taking over the number 4 spot is Ellen DeGeneres getting investigated. After her talk show had 17 successful seasons, no one expected a federal investigation to be brought against her show for mistreatment in the workplace. 2020 has been a very surprising year, and one of the most shocking controversies came from people saying that Ellen's show does not treat their employees properly, and that Ellen herself is not as nice as she appears to be on TV. Serious claims started to surface and some sexual harassment allegations were brought to light, and 2 of Ellen's executive producers were fired after the investigation. Ellen was getting attacked online for months, with people sharing stories of experiences they had with her where she allegedly wasn't very kind to them. Even one of her former bodyguards came forward with new claims. Despite all of this though, her show did continue on, and she's currently filming season 18 in studio to a virtual audience. Her show continuing has also caused a huge debate because people never really felt that her show deserved to go on. But I'm curious as to know what you think. Let me know in the comments. Sniping our 3rd spot is Kanye West. I have said it once and I will say it again, he needs to get off Twitter. His Twitter rants have become a signature piece for him, oftentimes going viral for his erratic claims and rants. But this year has been especially crazy for his Twitter account, one scandal leaving him suspended from the app for 12 hours. If you missed it for some reason, he left the internet completely stunned recently when he put one of his Grammy Awards in the toilet, filmed himself urinating on it, and then posted it on Twitter. Because that is the content that we wanted to see on our feeds. But he did not stop there. He went on to post screenshots of his very confidential music contract, which is totally illegal, and then he encouraged his fans to contact the editor of Forbes and actually release a screenshot of his phone number. This all happened in the matter of a day, and the internet was having a hard time processing everything that was happening. Twitter ended up suspending the use of his account for 12 hours in an attempt to just slow down the chaos. Cruising into number 2 is Shane Dawson getting demonetized. The YouTuber has been cancelled many times throughout his career, but this time it was for real. If the Tati Westbrook scandal was not enough to cancel him this year, this scandal definitely was. He has been around on YouTube since the beginning, and some of his old YouTube videos surfaced showing him making inappropriate comments and gestures about underage girls. One of them happened to be 11-year-old Willow Smith. So you can imagine how the Smith family reacted to the footage once it went viral. His humor back in the day is much different than the beauty and conspiracy content he does now, but fans were shocked that he was ever putting out content like that in the first place. Back in June, YouTube decided to demonetize all 3 of his YouTube channels after realizing that some of his old content violates its community guidelines policies. Since then, he has not posted any YouTube videos and actually disappeared completely from social media. Earning the #1 spot is Zoe Laverne getting arrested. Just 2 weeks ago, news articles started surfacing claiming that the 19-year-old TikTok star was arrested and detained from her home. This news came after video footage showed her kissing a minor, a fan who was only 13 years old. Turns out that she had an inappropriate relationship going on with the boy and openly admitted her feelings for him on her social media. All of this came to light after her phone was hacked and screenshots showed her conversations with the boy and also videos of her twerking on him. People started attacking her online and she ended up deactivating some of her accounts because things got so bad. But not too long after, she made her return and explained her side of the story. She apologized and admitted that her actions were wrong, but said that everything was done with consent and that the 2 of them were just friends who grew feelings for each other. She also did update us and told us that the 2 of them are no longer in contact with each other. Beginning our countdown, number 10 is Jake Paul calls COVID a hoax. During a recent interview with the Daily Beast, Marlo Stern claimed that Jake thought the deadly virus was a hoax. After receiving a ton of backlash, Jake denied ever saying that and said the reporter misquoted him and took what he said out of context. But then the reporter fought back and tweeted out an audio clip of what he actually said. Marlo Stern tweeted, "Here's the audio of Jake Paul telling me COVID is a hoax, that America should open back up, and comparing it to the flu." The audio link was actually on SoundCloud, but Jake's team had it taken down, so Marlo tweeted it out again, but not as a SoundCloud link. And Jake clearly says in the audio that he thinks it's a hoax and that the flu kills just as many people. The audio was not good for Jake. But when you listen or read the full interview, Jake says he feels like the reporter was asking leading questions, trying to get a bad interview out of him so that he could have a story that would obviously sell to the media. In other interviews, Jake has made it clear that COVID is very real and has killed a substantial amount of people, so the whole thing is a little confusing to me, but the audio clip does not lie and does not look good on Jake. Up next, number 9, we have Belle Delphine. The cosplay YouTuber has landed herself in a few controversies this year for different reasons. The main controversy being her explicit content, which some people says goes a little too far sometimes and should not be allowed on YouTube. She went through a very public battle with YouTube in recent months after they terminated her channel without any warning, claiming she did not follow the sexual content policies. She ended up getting her channel back, but some people did not think that that was right. It didn't help that just a few days after her channel was reinstated, she announced that she'd be filming her first adult video and would be selling the used condom from it that they use in it. Selling strange items is something that she's always done, and despite receiving backlash each time, she continues to do it. Last year, she sold jars of her bathwater, so this is definitely a step up from that, but a step in the wrong direction if you ask me. Oddly disturbing and disgusting. Cruising into number 8, we have Johnny Depp and Amber Heard losing their movie roles. It would be typical for me to put their lawsuit as the reason they are on this list, but of course we cannot ignore it. Their highly publicized lawsuit has probably been the biggest scandal of 2020, mainly because the media is constantly flooded with new updates on it. But one of the biggest controversies that has come from this lawsuit is that both of them as actors are losing or gaining movie roles, and fans are not happy about it. Johnny Depp was asked to resign from Fantastic Beasts and agreed to it, and fans were left completely devastated. With all the drama surrounding their lawsuit, they didn't feel comfortable keeping him as the lead, and he respectfully accepted their request. But this left fans pissed because Amber Heard has been talking about how she's excited to film Aquaman 2, which is set to come out in 2022. People don't agree that she should keep her role, so one fan started a petition to have her removed from the movie, and it has surpassed more than 1.5 million signatures. So we're gonna have to wait and see what the studio decides on that one. Up next, number 7, we have Jonah Hill slams the fashion industry. This was a scandal that a lot of people were happy about. Well, everyone who is not working in the fashion industry. The Superbad actor revealed that he has always been interested in style and fashion, but found it difficult to dress the way he wanted because the fashion industry ignores people who are overweight. He did an interview with GQ and said, "It's really hard when you're overweight to dress a certain way because clothes aren't made for people who are overweight to have style. So I think it surprises people. Being overweight and in comedy, you're not supposed to be into fashion on either of those sides." His interview actually came after a fitness expert went on The Morning and said that she would never work with fat people and that she didn't believe plus size clothes should be available to buy. Jonah, along with a lot of other people on the internet, thought that this was very unfair, and some even said that it was cruel. Rolling into number 6 is the Pope's Instagram. Probably one of the more uncomfortable scandals of 2020 and one of the strangest headlines I've ever read. The Pope was making news headlines after his Instagram account liked a photo of a Brazilian model wearing a sexy schoolgirl outfit. The model, Natalia Garibaldo, thought it was hilarious and made jokes that this means she's going to heaven now. But the Vatican is now seeking answers from Instagram after claiming that there is no way his account liked that image. Holy See officials said the Pope does not run his own account and rejected the possibility that one of his social media managers might have accidentally clicked the image. They are now blaming Instagram for the incident and recently opened an investigation. Halfway through our list, number 5 is the Pokemon scam. This scandal has been a hard one for me to personally follow along with because I don't know much about the Pokemon world. But Logan Paul has had a personal Pokemon advisor who has been telling him the value of specialty cards that he has been investing in. This led other YouTubers and influencers to do the same, thinking that their Pokemon cards were worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. These influencers were hyping up the Pokemon card market for months before planning a huge live stream event where they would open a $375,000 box of specialty cards live with the viewers. The live stream was meant to be some epic event, but when they opened the box, they realized it was all fake. Everyone involved looked like complete fools, especially Logan Paul's advisor, who had been valuing these cards at such a high price. Meanwhile, they weren't even real. So if he can't tell which cards are real and fake, how is he even an advisor on the subject? I'm confused. People were furious, especially since Pokemon card prices went up after all of this, and some people believe the whole thing was a giant scam and that they did this for clout and views. Here now at number 4, we have Charli D'Amelio buying TikTok followers. This sounds too petty to be some sort of big celebrity scandal, but it was, because she was the first TikTok star to ever hit 100 million followers. The 16-year-old made history recently after being the first user to hit that many followers on the app, and people started accusing her of buying them to get to that number. Her hitting this number was a huge event, and TikTok announced they were donating $100,000 to the American dance movement in her name to congratulate her hitting that milestone. But one user posted a video which showed that if you actually clicked on some of Charli's listed followers and you look at their following, their accounts show that they are not following Charli. Another user also showed that when you watch her real-time statistics, there are huge spikes every 20 seconds and that it didn't make much sense. Charli has not responded to these claims, which just made people more angry. In our third spot is the Dave Chappelle boycott. The comedian has been taking some heat in recent months after he posted a video to his Instagram asking his fans to not stream his episodes of his Comedy Central show. Well, he actually said don't stream them until they pay him more money. If you're a bit confused on this, which I totally get, he had abruptly quit Chappelle's show a few years ago without any notice, but because of the contract he had signed before he quit, he does not get any additional money for the stuff that he had filmed. So after he quit the show, they still released a shortened third season and used some of his previously unreleased sketches because they have the right to them. And they still do. So they don't technically owe him any money for streaming episodes now because he was paid at the time that he had filmed them, and the contract states that he would not get additional money. So for him to suddenly demand money, a lot of people don't think that it's right. He asked Netflix to remove it from their platform, and they did, but Viacom BS, which owns Comedy Central, did not. Moving on to number 2 is Tory Lanez shoots Megan Thee Stallion. This story completely shocked me when I first found out about it this year. Tori shot Megan in the foot and then offered her hush money afterwards. This is like something from a movie. If you have not heard the story yet, the incident happened back in July in the Hollywood Hills. Tori was riding in an SUV with Megan when they got into an argument with another passenger who was with them. The argument led to Tori firing off some bullets, and a few of them were at Megan's feet as she was trying to get out of the car, one of the shots being successful. It's unclear whether or not he was intentionally trying to shoot her, but she shared screenshots online of him texting her apologies afterwards when she was in the hospital. Despite kind of admitting it in text when he apologized, he has pled not guilty for felony counts including assault with a semi-automatic firearm, personal use of firearm, and carrying a loaded unregistered firearm in a vehicle. His next court date is January 20th, 2021, and if he is convicted, he could face up to 23 years. Winning the #1 spot is Harry Styles Wears a Dress. This is one scandal that shouldn't have even been a scandal in the first place, but in the end it was probably a good thing that it caused controversy because it shed a lot of light on a situation and maybe it was something that needed to be talked about. The singer posed on the cover of Vogue in a dress and faced a ton of criticism because of it. People started to say that he wasn't a real man and the comments got out of hand. A famous activist, Candace Owens, tweeted at his Vogue cover and wrote, "There is no society that can survive without strong men. The East knows this. In the West, the steady feminization of our men at the same time that Marxism is being taught to our children is not a coincidence. It is an outright attack. Bring back manly men." Some fans and even celebrities came to Harry's defense. Harry did not speak out about all the backlash, but instead he posted an Instagram photo of him eating a banana and then captioned it, "Bring back manly men."
At number 10, WAP. This past summer, Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion released their song WAP, and although it was a bop, a lot of people were enraged by it, causing a huge scandal in the media. The song itself is a female sexual anthem where they sing about certain experiences and just celebrate their sexuality. This is a theme that has been explored before by a lot of male artists, and it goes over fine, but for some reason this song was hit with a lot of backlash. A lot of criticisms that came about after the release of the song detailed how vulgar the song itself is. While yes, it is pretty raunchy, it's nothing that adult ears can't handle. Don't play this song for your kids. One congressman even called the song, quote, "What happens when children are raised without God." Much of the song's content made a number of people uncomfortable, but others saw it as an anthem for female sexuality, which is quite a refreshing idea as the vulgarity comes from women rather than the male gaze. The content even brought Ben Shapiro, founder of the Daily Wire, out to comment about the song, saying that if women are really experiencing that WAP, they should seek medical attention, which caused doctors to have to set the record straight that it is perfectly normal. This probably wasn't the response that neither Cardi nor Megan expected, but hey, it was still good press. At number 9, Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada was the center of attention for a little while this past summer after her entanglement with singer August Alsina went public. Jada faced some backlash for this for a few reasons. One being her foggy relationship with Will Smith. When news broke of Jada's relationship with August, people immediately thought that she had been cheating on Will and that this news was going to blow up in his face, but after discussing it on their Facebook watch show Red Table Talk, they revealed that the two of them had split up a few years ago and that Jada's relationship with August was not an affair. But another point that some brought up about this entanglement was August's relationship to the Smiths. August was first friends with Jaden Smith and met Jada at an event. Now after getting closer with the Smiths, Jada took August in to help with his mental health and the liver condition that he was dealing with. This led to them beginning a relationship and well, you know the rest. Now some have pointed out that Jada having a relationship with her son's friend was inappropriate, but I want to know your thoughts on this. Is it weird that this relationship occurred through her son's friend, or is it perfectly normal? Let me know down in the comments. At number 8, Lea Michele. This year we saw a lot of celebrities getting exposed. Some for past remarks, others for shady business, and everything else under the sun. Actress Lea Michele got exposed for her bad attitude and traumatic microaggressions by many of her former co-stars, including Samantha Ware, a former Glee co-star. Samantha called Lea out for the way she was treated on set, saying that Lea allegedly threatened to, quote, "shit in her wig," and that she made her gig a living hell. On top of Samantha's accusation accusations, others came forward to talk about their experiences with the actress, calling her cold and rude and saying that she felt entitled and that she was very bossy. Others encountered stories where Lea wouldn't speak to anyone directly and would order her assistants to speak on her behalf, and others spoke out about how she treated background actors poorly, calling them cockroaches. Samantha calling Lea out on her past opened a can of worms that ultimately led to her sponsorship with HelloFresh being cancelled, with them citing that they don't condone her actions. At number 7, J.K. Rowling. Author J.K. Rowling saw a huge amount of backlash from the trans community and their supporters as she came under fire multiple times this year for things that she said, as well as the content of her new novel. This scandal started off as J.K. tweeted out in response to an article about creating a more inclusive world for people who menstruate, essentially saying that only women menstruate. Her remarks were seen as transphobic as there were also trans men who menstruate. Later she tweeted, quote, "I respect every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them. I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans." JK also came under fire for calling hormone therapy a, quote, "new kind of conversion therapy for young gay people." Now, on top of the backlash that JK was facing for her tweets, she began facing even more backlash because of the content of her new book, Troubled Blood, in which it details the story of a, quote, transvestite serial killer. Because of the content of this new novel, people saw this as allegedly villainizing trans people, further adding to the backlash of her transphobia. At number 6, Bella Thorne. Bella Thorne made OnlyFans history this year, being the first to ever make $1 million in their first 24 hours on the platform. Her success was so big that she made over $2 million by the time of her first payout. Now, although her $2 million cash out was good news for her, it was bad news for everyone else on the platform, which led to a scandal. Because of the massive amount of money that OnlyFans was due to give Bella, the payouts from many other creators on the platform were delayed. Now, because this happened in such an uncertain time where people had been losing their jobs due to the pandemic, the money they'd made through OnlyFans was the only source of income for a lot of users. Now, other than this payout drama, Bella started facing even more backlash for scamming fans. A $200 photo that she labeled as being one without clothing turned out to be one in lingerie. This backlash prompted the OnlyFans platform to change their policies on how much a creator can charge for something. And the scandal that topped this whole thing off was that this whole OnlyFans endeavor turned out to be only research for an upcoming film. At number 5, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Just 2 weeks into the nightmare that would become 2020, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, announced that they would be stepping down from their royal duties. In an event the press called Megxit, the royals announced that they would be leaving their senior royal duties behind and that they would be splitting their time between the UK and North America. With the media's part in their relationship as well as with the rest of the royal family, this decision to leave royal life didn't come as much of a surprise to many. Either way, it was big news to hear that a senior member of the royal family was leaving that life behind. The decision was supported by the Queen, and the Sussexes have vowed to continue to uphold their duty to the Queen and the Commonwealth. At number 4, Shia LaBeouf. Recently, Shia LaBeouf came under fire after ex-girlfriend FKA Twigs issued a lawsuit over their alleged abusive relationship. The singer cites sexual battery, assault, and infliction of emotional distress as the things that she endured while in relationship with the actor. One of the incidents talked about in the lawsuits details a time where Shia was driving recklessly and threatened to crash if she didn't tell him she loved him. She also alleges that he knowingly gave her an STD and would sometimes grab her so hard that she would bruise. She opened up about her relationship with Shia, saying that it was the worst experience of her life. Singer Sia has recently come to Twig's side to support her and claims that she too had been, quote, emotionally abused by Shia, calling him a pathological liar and saying that he tricked her into an adulterous relationship. At number 3, Sia. Speaking of Sia, she's also had a scandal of her own this year after she cast Maddie Ziegler as an autistic teenager in her upcoming film. The movie, set to be released in 2021, titled Music, follows the story of an autistic teen, and being a production by Sia, it's no surprise that Maddie was cast in it. Maddie has been featured in a number of Sia's productions, but now people are thinking that this casting went too far, saying that this job should have gone to someone who's actually autistic. Many of Sia's fans and followers are questioning why the artist didn't cast someone autistic to provide representation to an underrepresented community. One Twitter user even brought up the notion that, quote, she produced a film peddling a harmful stereotype of disabled people and refused to cast a disabled person to play a disabled person, end quote. Soon the hashtag Sia doesn't speak for us started trending, and the singer started responding to fans asking about the cast. Though she says that there are other people on the autism spectrum that have been cast in the film, Maddie's casting still doesn't sit right with some. At number 2, Tom Cruise. Cruise. A few weeks ago, Tom Cruise was recorded yelling at the crew of the Mission Impossible film currently in production because they failed to follow their strict COVID precautions put in place. The leaked audio showed the actor yelling obscenities at staff members and threatening to fire anyone who is caught breaking the rules again. In a heated monologue, Tom went off on staff saying that he doesn't want their apologies and that they can explain themselves to the people who've really been affected by COVID. He also sort of touched on how lucky they are to have this job since production has been delayed so much already, and that if they shut down, they'll cost people their livelihoods. Now, when news of this broke, people were outraged that Tom would go off like this, even comparing his rant to the infamous Christian Bale rant on the set of Terminator. Others, however, pointed out that this might be the talking to that these people need in order to really take those precautions seriously. What do you think? Was he fair for what he said, or was it uncalled for? At number 1, Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne faces some serious legal trouble after pleading guilty to possession of a firearm and ammunition by a convicted felon. These charges came after a search was conducted of his private jet, revealing a gold-plated handgun in his possession. This was a big deal for the rapper because after spending time in jail on weapons-related charges back in 2010, he's no longer permitted to have a firearm. While searching, they also found personal amounts of various illegal substances. Lil Wayne has pleaded guilty to the charges he's faced with, and if convicted as charged, he can be looking at up to 10 years in prison. His sentencing is set for the end of January 2021, but until then, fans are hoping for the best for the artist.
Comments from celebrities who destroyed their careers on social media, part 5. Tiki Miranda and Journey the Killer says, "Hi Joss, I'm early as possible, please shout me out. Only because you came here early." Hello. Nat McMillian says, "Joss, I need that Bratz hoodie. Honestly, one of my favorite hoodies. It actually comes from a brand called Apartment 7. Go look them up." Lock the Fox says, "Cancel Bella Thorne." Honestly, I think there are so many other celebrities that we should be worried about and canceling before Bella Thorne. Just saying. Sheila Gravy says, "Nobody cares about any of these people." Well, they cared enough for there to be a part 2, Sheila. Haley Claiborne says, "Please give me a shout out. I've never had one before. I'm currently sick with COVID and that would absolutely lift my spirits. Much love, XOXO. I wrote you back. I am so sorry. Oh, COVID. That's awful. I hope you recover soon. And thanks for watching." Misfit636 says, "Really hope that sweater says insensitive." Actually, my sweater said Sensitivia or Sensitiva because it was a brand. So it didn't say insensitive and it did not say sensitive. Peaceful Poetry says, "My sister and I have gotten in a fist fight or two, but not in years." I've been there. Me and my sisters have also fought. When we were like kids though. We pulled hair, slapped, my sister chased me with a hammer. It's fine. I love them now.
From our video of the top 10 celebrities you didn't realize changed their looks. Nathan Carabachel says, "John Travolta looked like Jeff Bridges from the first Iron Man movie." I totally see that. I didn't even think of that at first, but as soon as I saw your comment, I was like, whoa. Yvette Bull says, "Mullets aren't any better now than they were when Billy Ray Cyrus had one." Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you on that one. I mean, some people can really pull off a mullet, but like I can't help but see Billy Ray Cyrus when I see a mullet. Like I'm thinking of that song, you know? You know that song, right? Holly Simpson says, "What the hell kind of studio do you guys record in? Stop yelling at us." Is this better? I'm not yelling anymore. Are we good? Cool. Gabriel Solomon 111 says, "If I shaved my hair off, I'll look like an alien. I'm sure you'd still look cute no matter what." I mean, I don't know who you are, I don't know what you look like, but I don't know. I feel like anybody would look cute.